Hi there, friends. I'm Alexander Antonio, and today I bring you another presentation recording for the M.O.R.E Guild. Today's recording is coming to you from my home office here in beautiful North Phoenix, Arizona. And so I'm delighted and excited to give you this message because today's focus is going to be giving you an understanding, a further understanding, if you will, on the title of the M.O.R.E Guild and why I decided to call it the M.O.R.E Guild. So I'm going to be breaking this down in upcoming videos and circling back to these truths and these reasons and why it's significant. Because I believe that the more clarity and the more information that you have regarding the intention and the purpose of the M.O.R.E Guild, the better it serves you and the more it comes together. Because like I believe, and I'm sure you would agree, when you experience more good things and more qualities in your life, it's always good. And why wouldn't you want more of that to continuously increase and expand in what you experience in life? The M.O.R.E Guild. So let's look at the title of the M.O.R.E Guild, but more specifically today in this video we're going to look at, by definition, the guild, the word guild. And so let's get right into it. So I made some notes. When doing a little bit of research on certain things, I said, what's out there with guild? So in the origin, when I put together the M.O.R.E Guild, it was for the sake of having something that was much more, a little bit more dynamic and charismatic than just the M.O.R.E group. I thought that sounded flat. So in the aesthetic of it, I liked the idea of creating a guild. And in the simplicity, it was just putting together something that people could appreciate that had common interest and common good value and good content. And that was the association that was behind it. But when I designed this effort to motivate, inspire, and even help educate within the association of the M.O.R.E Guild, I realized that it was the perfect way to describe more in life as coming together as a unity of people wanting to help energetically, mentally, and physically see the well-being of the community and the people that we were associated with. So, success by association, right? So, let's go into some definitions that I have here for you today. So, the first one will be just like what I mentioned earlier, the simplicity of what a guild means. It is an association of people with similar interests and pursuits. And that was really resonant in the origin when I first started the M.O.R.E Guild in Dallas, Texas back in 2009. And then proceeding into how it escalated quickly and became such a beautiful and amazing, powerful thing. It became life unto itself, as I believe good concepts often do, and businesses, and the things that we are putting all of our good energies in there to the best of ourselves become that which becomes created into its own life energy. Because all things are energy, and all things are of something that is being supported by certain types of energy. So hopefully those are positives in your life right now. So let's look at more definitions of guild as it pertains to the M.O.R.E Guild, and just in the definition of guild itself. So that will go deeper into our understanding. So the second thing I have under the explanation and definition of guild is it comes from medieval association, in the sense that this is when guilds were really popular historically, and I'll bring that into my third point. So guild, a medieval association of craftsmen and merchants, often having considerable power Love that. And into the second part of it, an association of people for mutual aid or the pursuit of a common goal. Man, that's powerful. But it's exactly resonant with what was in my heart and what was in my mind on creating the origin of the M.O.R.E Guild. And now in its relaunching, its reawakening and resurgence right here in Phoenix, Arizona, I felt it's important to share with you that by definition and by value of seeing it grow into its own element and what it means for you and what it means for each individual, it's going to be unique. And hopefully you'll continue to experience more good in your life because of the efforts of what the M.O.R.E Guild will have for you in future video presentations, but also in catching the M.O.R.E Guild live gathering sessions. Man, can't wait for that. Can't wait for the first one here. So if you're in Phoenix, Arizona, reach out and stay in contact with me. And also feel free to just share comments about what is going on in your life that is happening more in the positive and more of the stuff that you want to see manifested continuously in your life. Okay? So let's get into another definition, if you will, about guilds. So let's go into what historically has been said about guilds. So historically, guilds flourished in Europe between the 11th and 16th century and formed an important part of the economic and social fabric in that era. That is also very powerful and significant because, as you know, that in developing this great country that we call USA, the Europeans that migrated here to help develop what we know as our modern way of living and all that is positive. Now, we know history has some negative things, but let's not focus on that. It's good to know it, but moving forward, let's take our strengths and our positives and look at those. So historically, Europeans, they were instrumental, as you know, to help develop what we know as our United States of America. So it's good to know that guilds, had flourished. But I think it's an important time, friends, that we consider that when we're joining forces and we're collaborating and we want to use the similarities of power and strength, together, unified, that we can do our own guild work. So always have that in your heart and always be open to that. So the M.O.R.E Guild. Let's move forward into another point. And so this is I found this to be fascinating also. So when I was researching, guilds and what they mean, I came across the ecology of a guild, or what is considered to be ecology associated with guilds and the word guild. So the ecology equates a group of species that have similar requirements and play a similar role within a community. Now, how great is that? Community. How important is that? Because the M.O.R.E Guild was about the business community and personal inspiration of people coming together for common good. To have more in your life was a beautiful thing because you had more to share. So success people I found during my time in Dallas, and also now that I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, as I now become to get connected with people that are doing some amazing things, they really say, this is really about the work and improvement of common good in community and commonwealth in community. So the education that goes into communities, the infrastructure in general, that goes into communities to help us feel like we're living in a great place now, that's because there's gilded effort that goes into these things. Whether certain folks would ever look at it like that and define it that way, you and I know differently now, right? So the M.O.R.E Guild. So it's fascinating to understand the ecology that's associated and a part of the word guild. So I thought that was a good point. So let's look at another point. And now I would like for you to think about where there's positive, there's sometimes contrast. And so my next point is really about the word guild and its contrasts. So the words that are in opposite or in opposition of it. So words that you may know and also may be demonstrated in the course of your journey and what it is that you're doing right now or past, present, and into the soon-to-be future, which is always now, right? So the opposite of this, here's something to think about. Words that describe this is disorganization, anarchy, chaos, confusion, derangement, disarray, disjointedness. So think of that. These are words that are an opposite of guild and gilded effort and the gildedness of the things that help us together as a community. The professional works, the personal works, your family and friends. So it's important to know where there's positives, there's contrast or negatives, if you will. So I thought that was a good point to bring up and why also I selected guild and the value and really what it means. So let me bring up another point about the definition of guild. So guild is an association of craftsmen or merchants formed for a mutual aid and protection and for the furtherance of their professional and personal interests. Now I added personal in there. The definition that I found said professional interest, but I believe we need to look at it as hand in hand, yin and yang, harmony and balance. So as we are doing well in our personal life and as we are doing well in our professional life and personal life, the two should be mirroring one another. It should be a reflection. Do well in business and in our professions, careers. Do well in our family life, our relationships, the people we love and we care about. There should be wellness and there should be more good things happening. It should go in balance. And if it's not in balance, good news is that's why the M.O.R.E Guild is here to help create balance. The importance of having balance and the importance of understanding, the culture of things, the M.O.R.E Guild. And I'm so happy, friends, that you're listening to this message right now because I think it's important for you to understand whom and what you associate with. And I'm so happy you're thinking about, coming and being associated with us and, experiencing the stuff that the master teachers and the experts and the people who have a ton of experience in the successful things that they do that is attracted and manifested more in their life, in the positives. So we look at ourselves as M.O.R.E Guild master practitioners, as those that can weather change and weather storms in contrast in style. We can weather these sometimes difficult, turbulent, unexpected events that happen in situation and circumstance, but we do not fall victim to it. We embrace it and we offer it from a place, we offer it love and strength, and we honor these things. So when we need to heal ourselves in the variety and the virtues of living life in its qualities, our mind, our bodies, and the soul essence, the spirit inspired, the spirit essence of what it is that we're doing more good things and experiencing more good things, and we're sharing more good. It's because we've accepted the role of master. We've accepted the role of student. We've accepted the role of teacher. Because we are always transitioning, whether we're fully conscious or unconscious about these transitions of being. You have to, consider if you're really moving forward, and if you're one that loves to see things up level, loves to see things increase, loves to see things expand, and loves to express what and who and when are the good things that are happening to the benefit of more positive. Are you having stuff that's pleasing you more? Are you having more opportunities? Are you having more increase in your life? Are you feeling more abundant? Are you feeling physically well? Well, more of these things are important. That's why the M.O.R.E Guild was created. For us to understand that more in life is really great. So the more positive that we have, the more that negative seems to fall away. And it's important to know that we learn from this stuff that is temporarily giving us a minute to look at it for self-reflection. And in that self-reflection, in that introspection that we have about what happens to improve, that's when we become a leader and master. And that's when we can switch those roles of being into student, teacher, and the master. It's all the master's journey, it really is. And in later information and videos, we'll talk about the master's journey as it turns the wheel of life, and as you function in the wheel of life and the wheel of influence, or the sphere of life, if you will. It's part of the master's journey here at the M.O.R.E Guild, because you and I and we are masters of reality experienced. So getting back to the M.O.R.E Guild, the title and the definition of guild, let's look again. In simplicity, an association with people of similar interests and pursuits. So if you are one of those people that really believe that more is happening and more is part of life, in the good, the positive, and in the giving of it, and in the receiving, then this is something that I feel that is worthy of your attention and worthy of your time. And I am certainly appreciative of that. So friends, all this be said, from my heart to yours, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to what I have to say in this recording about the title of the M.O.R.E Guild, and looking at what a guild is by some definitions that I've shared with you that came through my research. So intuitively, when I called the group the M.O.R.E Guild back then, it wasn't really about a ton of research. It just was, what sounds like, it just was, I was coming from a place that was just, the universe was giving me that, And that's how the creative forces work, right? And moving forward, continue to co-create, good for other people, and for those of any of you that are going through tough times and changes, wherever you're at, know that there's more to be had that will uplift you, that will help you arise and come into this stronger than ever. Now is the time, more than ever, to know that you are rising up with me, that you are re-emerging with me. And if you never went back down, well, maybe it's time for you to go up a notch further. I've been up and down myself in life too. So, and that's why it took me some few years now to relaunch and represent this group to you now. And I'm more than happy and more than excited to continue to do more with the M.O.R.E Guild, with your help. So please, if you've enjoyed the content, and if you look back at the other content that I've been putting out there on LinkedIn and Facebook and here on YouTube, give it a like, and also forward it or share it with somebody, because it's only going to keep getting better. And the M.O.R.E Guild Live sessions, those gatherings are designed to just be amazing, and they will be amazing. But I've also got plans to, look at potential podcasts and do some interviews with some people that I know. And so if you have interest in sharing more with me within the M.O.R.E Guild, then feel free to reach out and send me a message, and we'll exchange the best ways to communicate and collaborate and co-create powerful and amazing good for people. This is Alexander Antonio. Thank you so much. Have the very best always. I'm out.